Why modern anime avoids the One Piece model?
When people talk about modern battle shonen, there's always this ongoing
I want to
conversation
copy One Piece.
about influence. You'll watch the newer series and start immediately spotting the DNA of the big three, but usually two names dominate that discussion: Naruto and Bleach. You see
The Chaddists.
Naruto's
The Chaddists of the Chaddists.
fingerprints everywhere. The
Of the-
outcast
of them
protagonist, the
Chads.
inner demon sealed inside, the rival who mirrors the hero ideologically. It's a character blueprint that modern shonen still actively builds on. Then there's Bleach. Here we've got the aesthetic influence, the
I think this is the most beautiful man in Bleach.
squad
Yamamoto.
hierarchies, the transformation
I like Mayuri because he hates his
releases.
his girl. I don't know.
We see the way fights escalate through spectacle and presence. It basically gives modern battle anime its visual combat language. And when you look at the new generation series like JJK or Demon Slayer, these inspirations feel immediate and visible. But there's one elephant in the room, which is One Piece, the most commercially successful manga of all time. One of the longest
Nobody
running
can copy this because nobody understands about pirates.
stories ever told in the medium. A series that has outsold, outlasted, and outscaled its peers. And yet, when people talk about modern shonen influence, One Piece almost feels absent from the conversation. You don't see many pirate crews, you don't see treasure hunt narratives dominating the landscape, you don't see island-to-island adventure structures becoming the industry norm. So to me,
Yeah, I think this is so original. Nobody can copy this. This is one thing I like about some very original anime from Japan, because it's so original. It's such a unique idea, a unique point of view. Nobody can copy this. Nobody
This
can create
raises a
anything like this. They can try. They can create the grilled arts from Fairy Tail
Really
again, but
interesting question. How can the biggest
like Shanks, but
shonen of all
it's
time feel like it
unique.
inspired the least amount of modern battle anime? And the answer isn't really that it didn't inspire them, it's that its influence operates on a completely different layer of storytelling. I would say Naruto influenced a lot of the characters, and Bleach influenced a
I
lot
like
of the
when Naruto cries, to be honest. It's my favorite. Like, I have a compilation, 5 hours of Naruto crying.
combat.
And it's my favorite movie ever.
But soon we'll see that One Piece influenced something much harder to replicate, which is world building, narrative scale, and the philosophy of adventure itself. It's the hardest legacy to spot in the modern era, but it's also the hardest to imitate. So in this video I want
Yes.
to break down
Yeah, I know why. Because nobody has friends anymore. Like, we can't create friendship anime anymore because friends are extinct. Everybody hates
why
everybody.
modern shonen feels so visibly shaped by Naruto and Bleach, while One Piece's influence feels much quieter. So when we talk about visible influence on modern shonen, it's almost impossible not to begin with Naruto, because Naruto created a character framework that modern battle shonen
Naruto created me, to be honest. Everything I learned in my life was through Naruto. Like, I used to write everything Naruto said, and like I tried to memorize so I could be Naruto. Like, this was my goal.
still actively builds on today.
I don't think it worked. I'm not Naruto now.
And you can break that framework down into a few core pillars that keep reappearing across the new generation. At the center of Naruto's story is loneliness. He's a kid trying to be acknowledged. He has a dream of becoming Hokage, and
This
it's
is me. Like, I want to be Hokage.
rooted in
And I'm
belonging.
lonely.
He wants the village that rejected him to finally accept him, and that emotional spine became one of the most reusable protagonist blueprints in modern shonen. We see it clearly in characters
But I
like
think before this, everybody was like that. But I think
Deku
now,
from My Hero
at least
Academia.
they're more sensitive because Goku doesn't give a fuck. Like, Bulma is sleeping there just like episode 3, and he just slaps her like in her thing. And the thing is, the first episode, Goku doesn't care, and his son, he doesn't care about his son and anything about that. Naruto is a good guy from the beginning.
or Asta from Black
He
Clover.
kissed his friends, like, to become better friend. Like, Sasuke doesn't like him, so he kissed Sasuke in the lips, so Sasuke can love him more. So this is great friendship right there.
They add different settings and different power systems, but the same emotional core. A protagonist starting from social or physical disadvantage, trying to prove their worth to the world around
I
them.
suffer for mental disadvantage, so I'm a protagonist.
It's inspirational, it's empathetic, and most importantly, it's adaptable. You can drop that character template into almost any narrative setting and it still works. Another major export from Naruto is the idea of power as something dangerous, something that exists in the tension with yourself. And I'm talking about Naruto's relationship with
When you have the devil inside you, like Lucifer, like the...
Kurama. It's a
I think if
relationship
Naruto dies, I don't think he's gonna go to hell. Like, maybe he's a great guy, awesome guy, the best president, but he has the demon inside of him. So when he comes to God and he says, can I go to heaven?" He says, "No, I'm not gonna let you get to heaven with a demon inside of you. Go to hell with your demons."
that
And
represents
It's not a good thing.
Represents fear and
It's
rejection.
gonna go to
The
hell, and all of hells, like Allah's hell, every hell.
idea that the thing that makes you special is also the thing that isolates you, and modern shonen has reused that metaphor constantly. We see the likes of Yuji housing Sukuna, Deku inheriting power that destroys his body, and of course Asta from Black Clover also fits this trope. They all echo this idea that power comes with psychological weight. It's a form of strength as well as responsibility. Then there's the rival dynamic.
That's why I think it's better to be weak.
Another Naruto blueprint that reshaped shonen storytelling. Naruto helped to reframe the rival as something deeper. It would be wrong to say that Sasuke was just trying to surpass Naruto, because he represented an entirely different response to trauma. Where Naruto sought out connection, Sasuke embraced isolation, and where Naruto believed in bonds, Sasuke decided to reject them.
When Naruto cried, Sasuke cried twice.
So this rivalry became ideological, not just physical. And modern shonen mirrors the structure constantly. Rivals aren't just power benchmarks anymore. They're thematic counterpoints to the protagonist's worldview. So when you step back and look at Naruto's legacy, you see that its influence is primarily emotional. It taught modern battle shonen how to write protagonists, how to frame rivals, how to externalize inner conflicts.
That's the best one. I think this is the best rival. I like Sasuke and Naruto rivalry more than Goku's and Vegeta, and I love Goku's and Vegeta rivalry, but this is like since they were kids, so you see they're growing and hating each other, and it's beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than you seeing people who grew like together and they hate each other and they grow with their hate, and you can see their hate maturing, and then they have a mature form of hate and they hate each other in a more wise way, in a wiser way. So I think this is, I don't know.
It created an amazing plug-and-play character blueprint, one that authors could reinterpret across completely different worlds. And that's why its influence feels so visible today. It helped give modern stories a compelling emotional core. And if Naruto shaped how modern shonen writes characters, then Bleach shaped how it presents its combat. Bleach's influence is rooted in its style, spectacle, and presence. And that influence shows up across multiple
I love those guys. Every guy of the captains. But my favorite is the pink cloth guy. I think this is the
areas. One of Bleach's most immediate
I don't know.
contributions to the genre.
No, I think it's the scientist.
Something fans would jokingly call drip, but it genuinely helped to reshape character design philosophy. Before Bleach, a lot of shonen prioritized function over fashion. Uniforms were often simpler, silhouettes weren't always expressive, but Bleach treated character presence as a part of the storytelling.
And JoJo too. JoJo, everybody is like has a lot of style.
Had the captain's outfits, the sword forms, the distinct postures. Every major fighter had a visual identity that felt iconic before.
Come on, this guy's a kid. Fuck that. Why is this guy like a captain? Fuck him. He doesn't deserve to be here. Like this guy, and this guy's on vacation. Like he's dressing like he's on vacation. And like the other guy's a sociopath, a psychopath, to be honest. The scientist.
Shonen absorbed
and those are the guards of the society.
Philosophy heavily. Nowadays, a lot of the bigger battle shonen have a distinct look to them. Characters are staged to look strong, but also cool at the same time. And another major influence from Bleach is the idea of organized combat hierarchies. The Gotei 13 in Bleach was built like a military institution. It had ranked captains, divisions, authority structures. Each member represented a different combat philosophy. And you see this institutional blueprint clearly echoed in newer series like Demon Slayer or JJK. Demon Slayer frames its Hashira as elite pillars.
Oh, cool eyes, I wanna have this.
Each embodying a
who do I need to fight to get this? I wanna get this
specific combat identity.
Destroyed.
It's a very
so everybody knows like I have wisdom, because when your face is like full of scars, like this guy on the forehead, like everybody thinks you're like a wizard or something. Like you've been through wars or something, but you have something different inside your heart.
Structural idea. While in JJK, Jutsu Society operates through ranked sorcerers, special grades, and institutional governance, a lot of which is also heavily inspired by Bleach in my opinion. But Bleach's most obvious influence comes through power escalation mechanics.
Bleach is like Yu Yu Hakusho's influence of Bleach, like yes.
System from Shikai to Bankai. We see power revealed in different stages, and modern battle anime has iterated on that formula constantly.
So you can say Yu Yu Hakusho inspired JJK.
In domain expansions in JJK and breathing form masteries in Demon Slayer, these are moments where the fight pauses, so that characters can showcase their identity through their power. And that performance aspect of combat, the idea that abilities should feel ceremonial and symbolic, traces directly back to Bleach's influence.
I need like It needs to be like a dance. Some people don't like the screaming, like I'm gonna say my giant name of my power. But I think this is a great thing to happen because I feel something. If you just punch the guy, I don't care. But if you say like a dragon fucking punch, I gonna feel something, you know?
When you look
So
at
I think it's better.
Bleach's legacy in modern shonen, it lives in the spectacle. Naruto taught the genre how to make you care about the person fighting, and Bleach taught it how to make the fight itself feel iconic. And because combat is such a visible part of battle anime, that influence feels immediate. It's flashy and easy to recognize, which makes it the perfect contrast to what
Yes.
we're about to step into next.
Like there's a blue light and a pink light. I don't know, like two different dudes. I can say this.
So if Naruto shaped the character writing and Bleach shaped the combat presentation, then where's One Piece's influence? Well, I would say One Piece shaped how shonen thinks about worlds. Its influence doesn't really live in the rivals or the power systems. It's more in the narrative architecture. It's about the structural design of storytelling itself, and that's why its legacy feels harder to
Oh
see.
my God, Zoro's sword is bigger than him. I know, no, he's sitting there, but I think it's I
Because
don't
it
know.
operates underneath the surface. Borrowing from One Piece requires something more demanding in my opinion. It requires building an entire living world before the story even begins. This includes political systems, economic hierarchies, and cultural ecosystems. To me, One Piece doesn't really feel like a story happening
Like he has a like this character has a megalodon mouth. Like he can eat some giant head. Like he can eat dragon's head.
in a world. It feels like a world that exists regardless of the story, and that level of design is incredibly difficult to replicate in a weekly serialization format, because it requires long-term planning on a scale most series never get the chance to execute anymore. And one of One Piece's most unique storytelling structures is the island arc.
What the fuck? What is this? They're playing guitars with Roman Empire helmets and bikini.
Model.
What in
Every
tango? What the
location the Straw Hats visit isn't just a backdrop for their fights. It's more of a fully realized society. There's a political conflict and a cultural identity. Each arc functions almost like its own contained narrative experiment, while still feeding into the larger world.
This guy has a giant tattoo. Like this neck. Like he can swallow a shark.
Narrative, and that level of setting intentionality is extremely rare in modern battle shonen, where locations often function more as arenas than societies. Then there's the Straw Hat crew itself, because unlike modern shonen teams, they aren't structured around combat roles or rival dynamics. I feel like each member's individual dream feels more personal in One Piece, and they all get a great backstory that ties directly into the narrative. It's
Like,
more than
I can see the difference of One Piece great scenes, because when a character is crying and nothing very bad happened, he cries. But when the character starts crying and it's very, very intense and very sad, like we have the nose thing, like the liquid from the nose and everything. So I prefer when they cry and the liquid comes from the nose, because I know it's a very deep feeling.
a group of fighters traveling together. It feels like more of a collection of different perspectives moving through the same journey, and replicating that level of character world integration is far more complex than people give it credit for. So when you look at One Piece's influence, it's more than the tropes. It's about the scale you have to commit to. It asks mangaka to build a living world, interconnected histories.
This is me. That's cool.
Societal conflict.
Man, it was like this every day.
And a crew whose dreams reflect all of it. This makes One Piece's influence incredibly deep, but also incredibly difficult to imitate. So by this point, the difference in influence starts to make more sense.
They drinking Shinji and Asuka. No, Shinji and Asuka survived. They're drinking Misato and Kajikan and everybody from the end of Evangelion.
And this is where I want to mention the modern manga industry as well, because it kind of works against stories like One Piece. The manga landscape One Piece debuted in is very different from the modern one shonen authors operate in today. Back then, long-form investment was more viable. Series had room to build slowly, to establish tone, to let the world unfold over time. But modern serialization operates under far tighter survival pressure. If a new series doesn't hook the readers quickly, it risks cancellation within its...
Yeah, that's right. If you don't hook me watching an anime like 3 seconds, I'm
first
like,
year. So authors prioritize immediate engagement tools, such as fast power system introductions, early rival conflicts, and visible combat escalation, because those are proven retention drivers, and that naturally favors Naruto and Bleach inspired frameworks over One Piece's slow burn exploration model. In my opinion, One Piece thrives on delayed gratification. Its major emotional payoffs are often built across entire sagas. Lore mysteries are hinted at hundreds of chapters before their resolution, and world events unfold independently.
Wait. Is this Blackbeard?
the
He's like that
protagonist.
now? Wait, he lost some weight. Wait, is that... Wait, no, no, it's not possible. This is Blackbeard. Yeah,
Journey.
he doesn't have the teeth and everything. He's taking Ozempic or
But
something.
attempting that structure
It's
in a
not good
modern
for
manga
him. Like,
is a gamble, because if the series get cancelled before those payoffs land, the narrative collapses under its own unfinished
his brain is on his face.
scale. So many authors intentionally compress the storytelling scope, and it isn't because they lack ambition, but because the industry timeline doesn't guarantee them the space to execute it anymore. There's also the question of what publishers actively push. Modern battle shonen marketing leans heavily on fight choreography, power ceilings, transformation reveals, and climactic spectacle moments.
It
Those
needs to be.
elements are easier to promote, easier to clip, and easier to make go viral, which again aligns more naturally with Bleach-style combat escalation and Naruto-style emotional rivalries, compared to One Piece's slower political and exploratory storytelling. And another aspect which I have to mention, which is maybe one of the hardest elements to imitate, is One Piece's tone.
I think it's more because Oda is a crazy genius. I think it's because of Oda's mind. I think it's like his personality. I think it's really about his personality or something. I don't think it's so technical, like that they have this, they have that. I don't think it's that. I think it's because Oda is such or an original dude. It's such a incredible and brilliant dude, and his personality is so different and original. I don't know. I think he puts that in the anime. You see that. I think it's brilliant. His brilliant personality.
Part because of how it feels to experience the world. Tonally, One Piece operates on a level of elasticity that very few stories, not just shonen but fiction in general, are able to sustain. It can be absurd, heartbreaking, political, whimsical, and mythic, sometimes all within the same arc. And somehow it never feels tonally broken.
It's funny because I don't know if she's cold or if she's hot. I don't know.
Whimsical and mythic, sometimes all within the same arc. And somehow it never feels tonally broken. One moment you're watching rubber-powered slapstick comedy, exaggerated reactions, cartoon physics, running gags that almost feel like Looney Tunes in execution, and then suddenly the story pivots into themes like oppression.
Then it comes so dark.
To me, it doesn't really feel like tonal whiplash because One Piece does this in a cohesive way. This balancing act is one of the series' most defining storytelling strengths, but also one of the hardest to imitate. Most modern shonen don't really attempt that tonal range. Instead, they specialize in a primary emotional lane and build consistency around it. And the reason why tonal elasticity is so rare comes down to trust. Readers have to trust that the story knows what it's doing. If the tonal shifts feel unearned, the narrative risks feeling inconsistent.
The guy's head's so amazing.
The story knows what it's doing. If the tonal shifts feel unearned, the narrative risks feeling...
Look at this. Oh, this is the coolest guy from the Marines because everything about the personality is about the hats. Like, it's the whole thing about the Marines. They have most. I think I have to say half of the Marine soldiers, the guys, they're from One Piece. They're just there to use the hat. It's just because they love hats. They don't care about fighting and anything about that. They just want the hats. And this is the true Marine because he's the only one who's respecting the tradition.
Feeling inconsistent or unfocused, and One Piece has earned that trust through long-term character investment, gradual world immersion, and emotional continuity across arcs. So when it pivots tonally, it feels intentional. And finally, there's a strange paradox that happens when a story becomes culturally as dominant as One Piece. Instead of making it easier for others to follow its blueprint, it actually makes imitation harder, because the more iconic a narrative identity becomes,
that's why everybody who tries to imitate Dragon Ball looks... You can't... It's just so unique.
More protective audiences.
Because if you try to imitate Dragon Ball's design or something, or you try to imitate One Piece design or something, like everybody's gonna know. Like it's
to get over its uniqueness.
It's obvious.
And One Piece occupies such a specific storytelling lane that stepping into it almost guarantees comparison. If a modern mangaka writes a story about a pirate crew sailing island to island searching for treasure,
I'm thinking about Frank's dick, like
building a found family.
He has weapons through all of his body. Like he must have some weapons. Like
along the way, it doesn't matter how.
Like he can fight using his dick. I think he's the only character, Luffy maybe, who can fight using his dick.
The execution is. The comparison to One Piece becomes immediate, inevitable, and often unfairly dismissive, because audiences would think of it as imitation. To me, One Piece has kind of monopolized that narrative identity. And
I think Zoro can use a sword of his dick.
Contrast to me, borrowing Naruto's rival dynamics, or Bleach's power...
In a real katana, he can put the katana on his dick and use it like he does with his mouth.
Escalation systems feels more like...
Okay, this video, I'm going too crazy. Sorry. The video is great. But I'm going too crazy now.